roundtable. We're getting spicy. We are going hot takes here.
Oh, hot.
Here.
Hot
Getting
takes.
loud, getting hot. 5 hot takes.
Spicy
each.
margarita, right?
Yep.
We're going. I'm drinking High Lifes.
Jalapeno
I am hammered.
margarita.
This is gonna be great. 5 hot takes each for the upcoming 2024 season.
Spicy
mostly
lemon.
fantasy, but maybe some other things sprinkled in. My first hot take: I'd rather masturbate than get a handy.
I'm giving Frank a handy under the table.
That is true. Look, Snail, back off because you're just mashing it now. It's not.
Oh, wait,
Interesting.
This is football.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? What would you rather do?
Did you ask?
You
I
start
mean, it's
mashing
football, right? Deshaun Watson.
You know what you're doing, though, right?
Yeah. I know what I'm doing.
More efficient.
More efficient.
Either way, check
Well,
out the
wait.
pod.
Are you going for like efficiency here? Is that like your ultimate goal?
The end goal, the end game, man. This is what I'm going for.
I mean, you'll
want a
get
touchdown.
He's like Brandon Ayuk, dude.
quickest way
you
to the
get to
touchdown.
it either way. Anyway, you start.
His hand is like Brandon Ayuk.
I'd rather
Or
Josh
Nico
Allen and run it in myself.
You
than
could always
hand it off to
sit on your
Pittsburgh.
Hey,
hand
stop
and then.
swearing. This is a PG show. Wait, what did I bring
Talking
up?
about what?
All right, hot takes.
Hot
Check
takes.
out the show, by the way. We're gaining some traction. Shout out Nick Martinez,
Nick M.
our new social media guy. He's blowing this stuff up. All our socials are in the description. We're going really hot here, and I actually have a question for you. Kind of a hot little question. Deshaun Watson, when are we going to coin the term? You know, it's called happy ending. Why can't it just be called a Deshaun Watson? They call the drink the John Daly. It's much more undercover than happy ending. You go into a massage parlor and be like, give me the Deshaun Watson. Give me the Watson.
Yeah, I'd argue that there's probably more people getting happy endings than there are John Daly's. So
Right. So why don't they use that?
I don't know. It's kind of a mouthful. I feel
Yeah.
like you need a shortcut on
It's
it.
a handful, not a mouthful.
Just the Watson, maybe.
So for a bachelor party, picture this. I'm going to do this as a video. You get 6 dudes in a bachelor party. You all buy Deshaun Watson jerseys, which is super cheap now. They're giving them away. And you all walk into a massage parlor. And just see what happens. Like, do the masseuses know about Deshaun Watson?
I doubt it.
What are the reactions?
How I know what you want if you know fill out form?
I'll just say it to you. I'll just tell you. Can I get rub and tug and finish off with a tea bag?
Okay, but must check with manager first.
No.
Xin lỗi bà, ông này muốn rub and tug và chơi với tea bag mà không chịu ký giấy tờ.
Oh, no, you got it wrong. I said rub, no tug. And the tea bags, where you heat those up. You dip them in water, you heat
Like, just with Deshaun Watson jersey on.
I'm
and you're
thinking
kind of
that's
going
my boy.
incognito. What do you think Deshaun Watson's strategy was? Just whip it out? He
Yeah.
took it out?
Yeah.
He what?
He took it out.
Yeah, you just forced it on.
Yeah, he did. All right, stat of the day. I have a stat of the day. We're
You
getting to
don't do that.
football. Rob Gronkowski has more games with 10-plus targets, which is 3 of them, than Kyle Pitts, which is 2 of them, since 2021. Rob Gronkowski retired in 2021. In 1 year, late career Gronk has more games of 10
Gross.
targets than
Gross.
Kyle Pitts.
I'll drink to Gronk.
Well, what
Yeah.
the heck is that about?
Gronk also has that. He'll never live down the taking that bad angle on the last play of the game.
That's true.
Remember that?
Yeah. All right. We are getting to hot takes.
Now we're talking.
I'm going to give you mine. You're going to love this one. Quentin Johnston will finish as a wide receiver 1
I'm numb to it.
this year. No.
Top 12?
Not getting a reaction. You already got a reaction
I don't
from
need
me.
a
I'm numb to it.
reaction.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you why. He was set up to fail last year. I told you he was a project for 1. Set up to fail. He lined up outside 91% of his snaps. Brandon Staley's an idiot, for 1. Never put in motion. Was not ready to line up as an X receiver in year 1 and run routes against press man coverage downfield. Was not ready for that, and that's what they did with him. Bad. He was the best graded run blocker on the team. What does Harbaugh want to do? Run the ball.
Yep.
Get that guy on the field. He's huge. He can block. And this is the end-all, be-all. I watched every route he ran. He was tipping his routes. You've heard of pitchers tipping their pitches? He was tipping his routes. Brandon Staley and his coaching staff is so dumb, they didn't realize that. Every time he had any in-breaking or curl, any route that wasn't a go, his head was down. Anytime he ran a go, his head was up.
So he's playing poker with mirrored sunglasses.
100%, man. And everything I told you about him not being ready, you mix that with tipping your routes, he was never going to succeed last year. Now there's nobody there. I know it's really crazy because he might not even be a starter. If he gets 90% snap share, this guy has a talent. He has the second-year ability to break out as a wide receiver 1.
So I got 2 questions.
Yes.
First question is, are you concerned about
Number one, how dare you?
Herbert's torn fascia?
No, that's rushing. No, not at all.
Okay. And then question 2, how many wide receiver 1s have come out of a Greg Roman-led offense?
Doesn't matter.
I don't know the answer, but I'm going to bet that it's not many.
It's none.
It's quite possible.
Can I piggyback with because this was going to be my number 2, but I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to number 1.
Go ahead.
No one on the Chargers will outperform their ADP this year in fantasy football.
His ADP is 69.
No one on the Chargers will outperform their ADP this year.
You are more wrong than Robbie right now, bro. They will all
Jim
outperform
Harbaugh and Greg Roman are known for offensive run-heavy schemes, right? Second highest rush rate in the NFL from 2011 to 2014 when Roman was the OC under Harbaugh at San Francisco. Roman had the highest rush rate in 2015 and 16 with Buffalo and the most rushes and attempts per team at a 50% rush rate in 2019 to 2020 under Baltimore.
Are you just saying receivers won't outfinish their
No,
ADP, or
nobody,
that's running backs
because
included?
but there's not enough talent in the running back room to capitalize on the rushing there. The combo of Edwards, Dobbins, and Vidal. I'm cooling on Vidal.
Cannibalize each other.
Desperate need of wide receiver help. This is a carousel of crap coming around for who's going to be wide receiver 1 in this offense, and wide receiver 1 is barely going to be a wide receiver 3 in fantasy. Stay away. Stay away.
That's hot.
Palmer,
That's spicy.
Herbert, McConkey, Johnson, Edwards, Diamond, Vidal. Throw them all in the bin.
Donald Parham.
Donald Parham.
What do you got? What do you got, Nico?
Oh man, you guys are coming out so
We
hot.
are. We are.
I don't even know. All right, we'll do. We're gonna do a tight end right out the gate here. We're gonna make it a little interesting, and Mr. Ferguson out of the Dallas Cowboys is gonna be a top 5 tight end in fantasy this year. He's gonna have a top 5 finish. And there's a couple reasons for that, in my opinion. One, I think Kelce falls off a little bit. I think Laporta steps back with his touchdown totals. Andrew's going to get vultured a little bit by Likely over there if he can stay healthy. And that's just kind of the top tier guys that we're looking at, right? Kind of poking some holes in those top 3. As well as, who else is there in Dallas besides CeeDee, who's in a contract dispute right now? Brandon Cooks is
and Jalen Tolbert.
At this point,
Zeke Elliott.
He's a jag. There's no running backs there. And I think Ferguson easily is the second leading receiver on this team behind CeeDee. And there's a world where, give or take 100 yards and a touchdown or 2, I got him at 1,109. That's enough for top 5.
Well, just to piggyback on yours, read that for me, Story.
Jake Ferguson, tight end 1 overall. Okay.
Now, I'm going hot.
Hotter, bro.
I am running hot. Number 1 overall, I have 12 TD upside. Okay, and that's for real.
I had him at 10, 8 to 10.
Number 2 target in the offense, that's for sure. PPR monster, a lot of little dump offs. Red zone monster, and here's 2 things I'll have for you. From week 6 on, 78% of the snaps. I love that. And what we're all forgetting, what people forget in fantasy is what happens in the playoffs, because not week 17 doesn't count either, but the actual playoffs in NFL.
The real life.
Do you know what he did in the playoff game?
A lot.
12 targets, 10 catches, 93 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I'm just saying, if you add that into his season total, he'd be drafted tight end 7 or 6. But we don't count that, even though it actually matters more. I don't know, man. Tight end number 1 overall. I'm going spicy with this. I think he has the number 1 touchdown equity of any tight end besides Travis Kelce this year.
Dak's got to get paid. Dak's got to get paid. And you do have to worry about Schoonmaker and Hendershot. Neither one.
So.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I don't think you have to worry about
Schoonmaker was drafted high, but you don't. He's got that role. He's a
don't make
grinder.
boats.
That dude is on grinder. He is
Yours
the
is
epitome
yours
of,
is like a jalapeno. Yours is like a habanero, right?
Mine's something, dude. What do you got?
All right, CJ Stroud will be the number 2 QB in fantasy this year, only behind Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, strictly because of rushing, and will win the MVP. So we mentioned mostly fantasy, but yeah, will win the MVP. Coaching staff, mostly intact from last season. Offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick and QB coach Gerard Johnson are both back. They're both integral to Stroud's success and allowing him to improve his game. They added Stephon Diggs. They added Joe Mixon. More offensive talent this environment. New environment for Diggs. New start, right? Upgrading the running back room. Still have Nico Collins. Still have Tank Dell there. Both are studs. Stroud threw for over 4,100 yards last year at a 23-5 touchdown to interception ratio, best in football, finishing as the QB 11 last year. Nothing taken away. Big additions equals big step forward for Stroud. MVP season.
Ooh, that's ghost pepper territory, bro.
Yeah.
That's hotter than habaneros.
That's worse than my Quentin Johnson take. What do you got for your number 2?
All right, number 2, we tease this, or you might hear about this later, depending on the order they get released. But
It's called edging.
Yes, edging.
DC.
Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars will be the best wide receiver on that team this year.
Okay.
He will lead that team in fantasy points at wide receiver. I think Egram continues to be a huge part of that offense. I think ETN gets a lot of work there. Trevor Lawrence, I'm not ready to write off yet. I still take his first year out, and I don't hold that against him. And then this last year, it was a ton of drops. And
Who was the coach of the first year?
Urban
Meyer.
They had a
of course
college
you throw
coach
that out.
with a college quarterback.
And he was partying like he was in college.
Trying to play NFL football.
Yeah,
right?
that guy is an
but
absolute
everybody
clown.
wants to be
Bum,
like,
dude.
T-Law and Danny Dimes put up the same numbers. Like, that's not the same
What
to
a
me.
bum
I'd much
Urban
rather
Meyer
have
was.
T-Law over Danny Dimes. Brian Thomas running a 4.3 at 6'3", 210 pounds, give or take. The guy's a freak athlete, is going to score touchdowns. He's going to take the top off defenses. And you've got Kirk playing it safe next to him. So that's Thomas, wide receiver 1 in Duval.
All right, my next hot take is Urban Meyer will get arrested for soliciting a prostitute. Sorry. Okay, you're gonna love this one. Justin Fields finishes a top 5 quarterback in points per game.
I do love that one.
12 games. He's gonna play 12.
I thought about Fields' hot take, and I was
Points per
trusting
game?
one
Points
of
per
you
game.
would do it.
And I'm gonna shout out my man Chaz Rutke, who helped me with this one. I think it makes a lot of sense, and here's why it makes a lot of sense. The last 2 years in quarterback scoring, here's the quarterbacks that have averaged more points per game than Justin Fields: Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. So he is 6th. With that Bears debacle, with him not being able to read a defense, now he's in the Steelers with Mike Tomlin. Not a lot of weapons, but he doesn't need weapons because he can't throw. What can he do? Run for 1,100 yards if he had 17 games. What can he do? Run for 10 touchdowns. Throw the ball deep. George Pickens. Dude, if he gets the job, he's going to be unleashed, and he is hungry. He is angry.
That's a league
He's
winner.
a good kid, man.
That one seems
winner.
extremely reasonable,
But
right?
it's hot, but it's reasonable, right?
Yeah.
If he gets, it's very lot. There's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, but I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it,
There's a
and
path. There's
that's
a
a
path.
stash, man. Pay attention if you see. Wilson
pay attention
struggle,
to that.
Pick that dude up, especially
Injuries.
in a 4 for passing touchdown league.
If,
oh my
if,
gosh!
If Russell Wilson gets nicked up in preseason, right? It's somebody
Again,
put
or more.
he's an instant starter.
Put
right?
him on your
Top
bench.
12
He's
guy.
already banged up.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna start. Like, I know you love Dayton Daniels, but like,
Do
dude,
love
we've
Jaden
seen
Daniels.
Justin Fields do it.
We've seen. I'm not arguing that. Yeah.
All right, what do you got, Story?
So Ramondre Stevenson. Okay, we talked about him previously.
Running back of the pod.
Not a top 20. Not a top 20 running back.
He's going 21.
Not a wide receiver 1. Not a top 12. Not top 10. A top 6 running back in half-point PPR this year. And that he's an absolute steal at running back 20, 21, what'd you
21,
say? Yeah.
21.
So, received an extension from the Patriots in the offseason. A regime change last year with the Patriots was an absolute dumpster fire. You had a new head coach in Gerard Mayo, new OC in Alex Van Pelt, not to be confused with the human thumb, that is Scott Van Pelt. He will have better quarterback play this year regardless, whether it's Jacoby Brissett or Drake May. The offense will have no choice but to take a step forward this year. They were at the bottom of the barrel in 2023. We're going to have less predictable play calling, better offensive line play, going to boost production for Stevenson. He is a pass catcher first and foremost. He will be the goal line back. He's going to elevate the pass catching is going to elevate him to the top 10, and the goal line stuff's going to elevate him to the top 6.
The other thing, too, that I don't think you want to overlook in New England is the player's coach. I think when you have a coach that was a former player, particularly for the same franchise, the guys on the field will buy in so much faster and really give everything they absolutely have, even if on paper they're not projected to do anything. They're going to put it all out there. You saw it last year with Houston with DeMeco Ryans, right?
Yeah.
When he took over there. The guy was a legit linebacker for those Texans team for a minute. The community loves him, the fan base loves him, and the players just buy into that type of coach. So
Or
I
what's
think
his name
Mayo's
for
the good hire
LA?
there.
The coach for the Raiders for Las Vegas.
Anthony Pierce.
Yeah, Anthony
Yeah,
Pierce, another
same
players
thing.
could coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Culture guy, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
There you go.
exactly it. So
I have something to add into this.
please.
Vagina.
I don't think you have one of those.
I don't. What do you got, Nico? Let's go.
I'm gonna stick with the running back hot takes here. It's not quite as spicy as story, Mr. Ghost Pepper over here. I'm barely a jalapeno today, apparently, but I've got a reverse course. If you have been watching, I have not been high on this guy, and I went back and did exactly what these two said I should do. Same thing Story did. I went back and watched some Chase Brown film, and I'm no longer a Chase Brown truther.
All right.
That dude cannot run unless it's a developed out or designed outside zone run for him.
I was so excited.
It's Zach Moss now. At one point, I believe I said Brown would lead this backfield after a month, and he is not going to lead this backfield after a month.
We lost Rob.
That's okay. He's around.
What do you got?
It will be Zach Moss as an RB1. He'll finish top 12 in fantasy this year with Cincinnati.
I love that.
We saw Mixon do it how many times with that same offense, with that same team, a healthy Burrow, throwing the ball to Chase and Higgins. Nothing to see over there. Historically, when Moss has gotten 18-plus touches, he's 93.5 yard average. So if you give that man 225 touches in Cincinnati with close to 100-yard games every week, he's easily going to be in the top 12, if not top 10.
That's pretty gross. My next one is Zay Flowers will be a top 10 wide receiver in PPR. You have Zay Flowers?
Nope, but I love it.
And I'll give you a couple reasons why. I did a little research. You know, I'm not just the host or the editor or the sexy body of the pod.
He's also a client.
Yeah. He caught 72% of his targets last year. He had 108 targets. 108. Pretty low. I am projecting 140 targets this year, which gives him 100 catches, 1,200 yards, and 8 touchdowns roughly. That's through the air. But he has a different role. Remember Percy Harvin, who was a returner, by the way? Zay Flowers is a receiver. He is a polished receiver coming out. Percy Harvin, end arounds, screens, Deontay Johnson level separation. This is now for Zay Flowers. Deontay Johnson level separation. Deshaun Jackson level. Poor man's Deshaun Jackson level deep ball and no competition. Besides Mark Andrews.
Yeah, the no competition there is huge.
So you add those receiving numbers plus maybe 120 on the ground and 2 touchdowns. You're looking at 10 touchdowns. 1,300 total yards and 100 catches in PPR. That's top 10 dude.
I got nothing to say. I love it. I love that one.
Watching Lamar Jackson's film, what did I notice? What popped out? Zay Flowers was so open on every play, and Lamar missed him a little bit. But, dude, he is just at every level dynamic, and he left a lot on the bone last year. And our last memory of Zay Flowers, that I promise you is depressing his fantasy value, is those 2 knucklehead plays, right? The penalty and the fumble in the playoff game. Yep. One game won't define this kid. He's going to come back stronger. I think he's a great kid. A couple mistakes, whoop-de-doo. I love this dude as a player. Yeah. I love his situation. I think that it's only to the moon. He's going wide receiver 24 right now. That is criminally underrated, and I feel like he is getting drafted at his floor.
All right, so Travis Kelce. So I went good, bad, good. Here comes bad. Travis Kelce will end up as the tight end 8 or worse this year. Yeah. So.
Boy, I hope so.
Tight end position is
screw Taylor Swift.
Yep. Top head. Well, I didn't even put that in there, but you're right. Tay-Tay distraction.
Is this a reflection of the tight end position in general, or him, or
it's
both?
Or
so does she break up with him and he's too depressed to play football?
So I can't predict that, but. What I can tell you is the tight end position is top heavy this year. You've got 7 or 8 other tight ends who could compete for the number 1 spot, which means any of these could end up in the top 7. More wide receiving talent in KC. Rashee Rice, doubtful suspension comes this year. Marquise Brown, I know. But they added Xavier Worthy in the draft. Andy Reid showed his hand last year. He slow played the offense into the playoffs and unleashed Mahomes and Kelce. Likely going to see the same this year. They know what they need to do to get into the playoffs in a terrible division. And here's the kicker. Father Time is undefeated, and it comes for us all. And when it comes hard. So Travis Kelce, I'm sorry to say, your time is coming.
So you're saying in a couple years, Father Time's going to take my podcast ability. I'm not going to be able to talk or get drunk or have fun?
No, you'll still be able to get drunk. But
I have a situation.
It's just going to take one fewer beer.
You couldn't predict the Travis Kelce and break up with Taylor Swift?
Yeah, no, I can't.
Can you infiltrate like Austin Powers with a lot of vagina? Or does that not work with a girl?
I was thinking we could do maybe an Inception with Taylor Swift and convince her.
Let's go. Plan an idea, man. It's really hard to do, but once you do it.
What do you got, Nico?
I love it. We talked about this one a little bit on the wide receiver where we were doing floor ceilings, and it was for me, Cooper Kupp is going to outscore Nakua this year, and it has nothing to do with the injury right now. I know McVay just came out and said Nakua should be ready for week 1. I'm looking at a couple things here. One, when Cooper's healthy, he has an established rapport with Stafford. He's going to be the guy as long as he's on the field. And same thing with Stafford, as long as he's playing at 90%, is really all I can ask out of Stafford at this point in his career. But Puka, without Cup, is 108 yards a game, I want to say, average, something like that, without Cup. And 79 with. So you see it's not just Puka all the time, right? You see that splits there when Cup's in the game. And I think he's a little more trusted. I think a year of film out on Nakua, too, is going to help defensive coordinators take him off his mark a little bit. But where you're able to draft each of them, I think Cup's going to outscore Puka and be the wide receiver 1 for the Rams.
That's hot. I mean, Nakua showed what he could do last year. He's a monster on the field.
What's his ECR now? We got it done. I got it done.
Oh, Puka?
I would guess 9?
11 overall pick.
Is it?
And
8th wide receiver?
Yeah.
11 overall.
Yeah.
And,
7 or 8, and Cooper's 21.
Now, I mean,
So
that wide receiver 1 is very, very valuable for the Rams.
all right, my last hot tape. I think I can't talk tape.
Hot take.
Nick Chubb will finish as a top 12 running back, and this is not in points per game, and I'm assuming he's missing 3 games. Do you want to know why? Remember Adrien Peterson a couple years ago? Well, it was more than a couple years ago.
Yep.
But the MVP of the league.
Go cut me a switch.
Now let me give you this. AP tore his MCL and ACL. He was 26 years old, December 24th. Nick Chubb, granted it's a second knee injury, he tore his ACL and MCL, partial tear of the ACL, September 19th at 27 years old. Nick Chubb's an alien. So is Adrien Peterson. I'm putting them in the same mold. Derrick Henry mold. That looks like a big difference in time frame. And AP did it. Nick Chubb is on his last year of his contract. They're in a win-now mode. Why would they rest him? Why would they worry with him?
He's out squatting half a ton.
He's ready, dude. And I don't care if he misses a couple games.
Strong possibility he ends up on the pup.
Nick Chubb, I don't care.
I know.
I think he could do it in 15 or 14
I'm just providing
games.
little context for the audience.
Weeks?
Yeah.
How many weeks does he miss if he's on the pup, though?
4.
6, right? Or
Four.
4?
13 games.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like he can come back and just dominate.
I guess it's easier to do it in a 17-game season
Or
than
Nick
a
Chubb.
13-game
Don't forget
season.
about
Yeah.
that.
And, you
I love
know,
Nick
if I
Chubb.
went ahead, I'd say points per game, but I don't think it's that hot. I think he's missing 1 or 2 games. I don't think they put him on the cup.
Cup up.
It is Nick Chubb, man.
Yeah.
And he's an alien. And I don't know what you guys think about this
I like that one
but,
too. Yeah, that one's a little more difficult to swallow just because
RB40,
of the injury.
RB40, by the way.
And if you have an IR
Best ball,
spot,
Oh,
no.
yeah. Oh,
Redraft,
yeah.
yes. Not even. I don't even care about that, dude. Give me that. Jerome Ford, not great.
No, we showed that last year.
Come on.
It's good.
I like it.
What do you got?
Marvin Harrison will be a bust in year 1.
I'm going to start poking you.
He's currently being drafted at wide receiver 9, but I predict he will end up as a low-end wide receiver 3 this year in the mid-30s. Playing in a mediocre offense with very few supporting pieces. Didn't test at the combine, but he was drafted 4 overall because of the process. He is being drafted 4 rounds higher than any rookie wide receiver in fantasy football history. His potential is a possession receiver in this offense, as his after-the-catch ability is his downside, and it's a big downside. And I'm going to read you a list of names. Howard Brown, N'Keal Harry, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Reagor, Kadarius Toney, Rashad Bateman, Jamison Williams, Jahan Dotson, Treylon Burks, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Quentin Johnson, all drafted in the first round, all expected to be studs, and all were busts for
Those
fantasy
guys
football.
all suck
Also,
cock.
remember Kevin White.
Dude.
Kevin White.
Marvin
Drafted.
Harrison.
Kevin White
No,
was
it's
drafted
Marvin
at
Harrison
7
Jr.
overall.
He's done nothing in the NFL.
You know
Nothing
what-
in
you know
the
what you're
NFL.
burned by?
We've
You're
seen
burned by your Quentin Johnson love last year.
3
You're
examples of
reflecting that on this.
first-round picks in the last 5 years that have finished where Marvin Harrison is currently being drafted or higher. The history is not on his side, and I've seen enough. I'm out. It's a bust. Count him up.
I don't know that he's that low, but I also know I will not own any Marvin Harrison anywhere at his price. I don't see him finishing where you're drafting him at, and I'm there's maybe a path. Story. I'm not saying there's not, but there's also a world where it's like I'm not touching him for what.
Hey,
you
this
guys
is
say.
hot takes. This isn't Chili's fajitas mild takes. Right?
I like chili. And I like a mild. What do you got? Last hot take of the day. Nick O'Face.
Last hot take. I'm gonna throw this one out there with the idea of we get a little conversation from the Bears fans in the room.
Okay, all right.
And maybe it's not real hot. I don't know. I feel like you guys haven't found mine were too spicy yet. But 2 rookie quarterbacks will finish in the top 12. We've got Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, both QB1s this year.
All right.
Okay.
And Jaden Daniels, I think the path is through the run game.
I agree.
We see him rushing.
Oh, yeah.
We see him throwing deep balls to McLaurin and Dotson. I think it's, me personally, I think I see an easier path for Daniels as a QB1. But with Williams, for me, the things are the weapons there, right? Bringing Allen, drafting Rome. You got DJ. You're bringing in Swift. They're putting all the stuff around him. You're going to see another year with some of these offensive linemen hopefully gelling together. Williams is that borderline generational talent that we've heard about. And I think if they put it all together, along with that stout defense that the Bears have, there's no reason he shouldn't be a top 10, top 12 quarterback.
So I think Daniels is all but guaranteed to be a QB1 in fantasy.
If he plays the amount of games.
Yeah, well,
I mean, the guy's built like a windsock, so who knows?
I'm struggling to get there on
Sock,
Williams. So
dude.
that's spicy. Getting there on Williams is spicy to me because I have a tough time getting there.
And you got to get them both. I mean,
What about Drake
happen,
May?
right?
Drake May.
No, he
there-
won't be top. No.
All right.
Bottom half.
This was awesome. These dudes are legit. Check out the show. Again, shout out Nick Martinez.
Also, tell us how wrong we are because inevitably.
Yeah, please. Yeah, tell us how insane we are. And watch the previous podcast of my James Conner comment.
Yeah, and even submit questions in the comments, right?
All that
Respond.
stuff.
We got
all
you.
that stuff. I'm doing the whatever this is.
Point,
Let's
yeah.
go.
The
Let's
likes.
go.
And it's been a complete joy.